Hello everyone, what's going on, and welcome back to another Blueprint Base Building video. Today we're going to be looking at a Town Hall 9 base. My name is John, and in this video I'll be guiding you through my thought process, the points of the build, why I did stuff, and we'll see some replays of the base in action. So later on towards the end of the video, after the build is done, I got some replays for you. Some of them are pretty funny. I'm not sure if anybody out there remembers the YouTuber Clash with Cam. He would always have pretty funny attack videos, and that's kind of what I was mimicking this base after, trying to take inspiration from for this base. So basically, if you don't remember those videos, you'd have the attacker attacking in a location that was very heavily baited, and it was kind of designed to make the attacker look stupid, more or less, right? So you heavily bait an entry, attacker puts their troops down, everything dies, makes them look silly. That's what I was going for in this video. So the first thing I was doing, I figured I'll put all the resources, the town hall, the elixir storages, the gold storages, the dark elixir storage, all in one big compartment. So that was step one. Putting everything in that big compartment. After that, I wanted to have a dead space. I wanted to have a space where attackers thought I drop all my troops, everything goes to these resources, I get easy loot. However, in that dead space where there are the holes in the base, that's where things kind of get tricky, because I'm also going to put all the traps there. All of the hidden Teslas, the giant bombs, the seeking air mines, red bombs, skeleton traps, small bombs, giant bombs, all that stuff is going in that dead space, in that void space. So if an attacker drops all their troops there, all of those traps are going to go off, and it's going to make them look bad. It's going to make them be very angry, and that's funny. It leads to some good replays. Is it going to work every time? No. Sometimes you got a smart attacker and they drop a single troop or two to trip the traps, and then they go in. But it's a funny base. This base is set up to be a troll base of sorts, and it can lead to some pretty entertaining replays. So put the town hall in, all those storages, all those traps. After we're done with that, I'm going to start going ahead and building the base itself. I also want to make it be able to defend attacks that aren't necessarily opening in that gap, in that hole, in that void space. So I want to have a decent base elsewhere, and if attacker attacks from a different angle as well. So I'm gonna go ahead, start building some compartments. After I get the compartments down, I'm thinking I'm gonna spread out the air defenses, get them spread out, have a lot of coverage. I want to make sure that there's some air defenses in range of that town hall, gold storage, elixir storage compartment, so that if they spam dragons, if they spam, I don't know, minions, balloons, what have you, there's some air defenses in there to take that stuff out. After air defenses, one of the main things I usually do is I put down my wizard towers. I like to make sure the wizard towers are out of range of the air defenses, so that if somebody's using Lalo, which isn't really a standard farming army, but if somebody is a higher skilled attacker, they're using Lalo to farm, the hounds go to the air defenses, and then the wizards are out of range of the air defenses, so the loons behind them are getting hit by the wizard tower. Gonna go ahead and put the queen towards the center. I want the queen to be out of range, so I'm making sure that the walls have her being out of range, so an attacker can't kill the queen from the outside. That's always an important base building concept to keep in mind, in my opinion, unless you want to bait an entry. If you want to put the queen near the outside to bait an entry, bait a suicide hero, go for it. I like having the queen inside the base so that she's stronger and protecting all different sides. After that, I'm going to go ahead and put down some other defenses. Sweepers, I want to put sweepers in a way that, once again, if somebody does deploy troops into that core, the sweepers are blowing those troops around. The goal ultimately is to protect that core, because people are going to be wanting to go for that loot. But I don't want the base to be weak to anything regardless. The traps, the air defense, the wizard towers. After that, I tend to put down archer towers. I like having archer towers away from air defenses so that you reduce the amount of zap value. It's common for, at least in my experience, to have somebody doing a raid and they just bring mass drags with a bunch of lightning spells and zap whatever they can zap. And with that, if you have other air targeting defenses close to your air defenses, it's just going to give that attacker that much more value. So want to spread that out, want them to get as least value as possible whenever they're zapping out the air defenses. Expos, I'm leaning on putting Expos on ground, on both of them on ground on this base, because I see a lot more ground-based attacks in farming. If for some reason you were to use this as a war base, I highly, highly, highly would not recommend it. But if you would do that and you'd want to see how it plays, I would probably put the Expos on air mode in that instance. These kind of bases usually don't do well in war format because everybody got 2 hits. You can scout the base, you can see where the traps are and then plan accordingly. But yeah, after that, after I have those defenses down, put down cannons, start thinking about where I'm putting mortars, bomb tower, and the base is looking pretty good. I'm going to put a lot of the resource collectors in there as well, the elixir collectors, the gold mines. You guys can also modify that a bit if you're somebody who's kind of just storing your dark elixir. You can take out some of the gold storages, elixir storages, put in your dark elixir drills in the core. If you're somebody who you're maxed out on elixir but you're trying to find some gold to upgrade defenses, you can take out those elixir storages and put in gold mines if that's something that you think would be of value to you. This base is a little bit adjustable, if you will. But yeah, a lot of the replays that I'm going to show you in a little bit, we got one featuring witches, one featuring dragons, one featuring P.E.K.K.A.s, so we got a little bit of a variety for you. That's about it for me. Enjoy the last part of the build. There'll be some music to keep you going, and then after the base is done getting built, we'll see it in action. We'll see the base defending, and some of the attacks are pretty dang funny. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Remember to use code BLUE. It really helps. Peace. So the first replay we're going to look at is a witch attack. You see immediately upon starting the attack, the attacker drops a bunch of freezes on the ground bows, on the archer towers, with their thought process being all of the witches die. They rage quit before even dropping their heroes. 14 seconds into the attack. Game over for that one. The next attack we're going to look at is a mass P.E.K.K.A. attack on the base. And I think this is an interesting one to look at because they deploy the troops from the outside. They're not somebody who goes for the core trap. They did test it. They pulled a skelly. They're going to zap some defenses. They're going to deploy P.E.K.K.A.s on the outside of the base. 8 P.E.K.K.A.s, the heroes, 3 rages. That's a good bit of firepower, but it's not going to really work on this attack. The P.E.K.K.A.s are going to just kind of continue to circle the base. Eventually they break into the walls. Let's see how it goes. So you got 8 P.E.K.K.A.s raged up. All the defenses are beating on them. You got skeleton spells slowing, skeleton traps slowing them down. The P.E.K.K.A.s are eventually beating on walls. They're getting into the base. Still not by the storages though. Pretty soon you're going to see the attacker drop down heroes. He drops down king, hits ability, clears more trash. Gonna drop down queen. You can see that the P.E.K.K.A.s are still working their way into the core of the base. They're still outside the base for now. The P.E.K.K.A.s are beating on walls. The attackers sending in their goblins. The goblins are gonna redirect, get into that core. P.E.K.K.A.s are doing some work, but all they're gonna manage to do is take down 2 gold storages, maybe a third. The goblins come in, they get roasted by the Teslas, and almost all the elixirs left on the board, almost all the dark elixirs left on the board. They didn't get the town hall. It's a 0-star defense. And then we got one more replay. This one's my favorite. It's a dragon attack. So what we got going on, first off, they deploy all the dragons into the center. And then the queen right behind. You see the air defenses are working on the dragons. The sweepers are working on the dragons. All the seeking air mines are in the core, so those hit the dragons. The attacker deploys his king. The king's going on the town hall. However, the ground expos are doing work. He tries zapping the expos out to no avail. Hits king ability. The town hall is going to stay up. The dragons are going to keep working around the base. However, eventually they will get in contact with archer towers that will take them out. This is another 0-star defense for this base. That's one thing that this base is pretty good at. 1, providing entertaining replays. 2, the occasional 0-star defense.